The Dawn, Anu and the Dragon. As with all things, it is best to begin with the beginning, the creation. All things after it are a result of it, and the nature of it reverberates down through the millennia. A great many mystic and tribal storytellers impart some version of this story. I am using ancient writings from the Black Book of Lam Essen. I chose this source because Lam Essen was a skilled sage renowned for his knowledge of Skatsimi mysticism and folklore. In his time, he collected vast stores of knowledge from diverse places and had a unique genius for distilling the essence of things from a vast array of different sources. He describes the creation of our universe in the following terms. Before the beginning there was void, nothing, no flesh, no rock, no air, no heat, no light, no dark. Nothing save a single, perfect pearl. Within that pearl dreamed a mighty, unfathomable spirit, the One, Anu. Made of shining diamond, Anu was the sum of all things, good and evil, light and dark, physical and mystical, joy and sadness, all reflected across the crystalline facets of its form. And, within its eternal dream state, Anu considered itself and all its myriad facets. Seeking a state of total purity and perfection, Anu cast all evil from itself. All dissonance was gone. But what of the cast off aspects of the being? The dark parts, the sharp, searing aspects of hate and pridefulness. Those could not remain in a state of separation, for all things are drawn to all things. All parts are drawn to the whole. Those discordant parts assembled into the beast, the dragon. Taphemet was his name, and he breathed unending death and darkness from his 7 devouring heads. The dragon was solely composed of Anu's cast-off aspects. The end sum of the whole became a singular evil, the prime evil, from which all vileness would eventually spread throughout existence. Though separate beings, Anu and the dragon were bound together within the pearl's shadowed womb. There they warred against each other in an unending clash of light and shadow for ages uncounted. The diamond warrior and the 7-headed dragon proved to be of equal of the other, neither ever gaining the upper hand in their fierce and unending combat, till at last, their energies nearly spent after countless millennia of battle, the two combatants delivered their final blows. The energies unleashed by their impossible fury ignited an explosion of light and matter so vast and terrible that it birthed the very universe around us. All of the stars above and all the darkness that binds them, all that we touch, all that we feel, all that we know, all that is unknown. All of it continues through the night and the day in the ebbing and flowing of the ocean tides and in the destruction of fire and the creation of the seed. Everything with which we are aware and that of which we are utterly unaware was created by the deaths of Anu and the dragon Taphemet. In the epicenter of reality lies Pandemonium, the scar of the universe's violent birth. At its chaotic center lay the heart of creation, a massive jewel unlike any other, the Eye of Anu, the World Stone. It is the foundation stone of all places and times, a nexus of reality's vast, untold possibility. Anu and Taphemet are no more, yet their distinct essences permeated the nascent universe, and eventually became the bedrock of what we know to be the high heavens and the burning hells. Anu's shining spines spun out into the primordial darkness, where it slowed and cooled. Over countless ages it formed into the crystal arch, around which the high heavens took shape and form. Though Anu was gone, some resonance of it remained in the holy arch. Spirits bled forth from it, shining angels of light and sound who embodied the virtuous aspects of what the One had been. Yet, despite the grace and beauty of this shining realm, it lacked the perfection of Anu's spirit. Anu had passed into a benevolent place beyond this broken universe, a paradise of which nothing is known, and yet represents perhaps the greatest kept secret of creation, longed for but unimaginable. Just as heaven cooled in the spaces above, Taphemet's blackened, smoldering husk spiraled into the lower darkness of reality. From his putrid flesh grew into the realms of the burning hells. The dragon's 7 severed heads arose as the 7 evils, the 3 strongest of which would be known as the prime evils. They, along with their four lesser brethren, would rule over the ravening demonic hordes that spawned like maggots from the desiccated cavities of the burning hells. Thus was how all of what we know began. In time, the lords of hell and the angels of heaven met and clashed. The battle raged unceasing, and thus would become known as the eternal conflict. It is written in the Book of Long Shadows that the eternal conflict shall continue on forever across countless planes of existence until further mysteries, unknown even to the angels and the demons, shall reveal themselves. Over the millennia, many scholars have interpreted this in different ways. Some, especially in the primitive tribes who looked to the sky for their understanding of the universe, view all this as literally true. They believe that Anu's spine is a physical object in the universe, that demons are born from the rotting flesh of Taphamet. Other scholars and mystics take this less literally and perceive the telling of Anu and Taphamet's battle as an elaborate metaphor for good and evil in the constant warring dynamic seen among the forces of nature. The eternal conflict. I take the following knowledge from a surviving fragment of one of the scrolls of the Church of Zakarum. In it, the unknown scribe tells of events which took place millennia before the founding of the church. Thus, the descriptions are of questionable validity. I personally believe that the tales came from earlier and unknown sources. I have my suspicions, which, for the time, I will keep to myself, although I might expatiate on these things in a later writing. The scrolls describe a war fought by agents of light and order against creatures of chaos and shadow. That is to say, forces both of the heavens and the burning hells. See later sections. This war was most commonly fought within the realm of Pandemonium. According to one of the earliest necromancers, the angels and demons battled over control of one essential object, the heart of creation, the World Stone. The World Stone is not, as the name implies, a mere stone. It is a colossal mountain-sized object which was believed by many and is supported by multiple petroglyphs and ancient sculptures to be the actual Eye of Anu, the One. According to legend to which I subscribe, the World Stone is an artifact of unimaginable power. Lacking the specificity and background a scholar such as I would like, a belief exists that control of this stone changed hands many times over the eons. Oral history tells us that the World Stone allowed the side that possessed it to alter reality and create life and worlds almost without restriction. The account continues that angels used the stone to build worlds of perfect order in line with their ideals of justice, hope, wisdom, valor, and fate, whereas demons used the stone to create unfathomable engines of annihilation and worlds of destruction, terror, and hatred. However, these worlds created by angels and demons never flourished. They were inherently flawed and doomed to wither and die. I know not whether such worlds were ever created, or, if they were, whether any of them still exist. To the best of my knowledge, no man has ever beheld such a world. Therefore, I suspect that this account is literary license. What we can all agree upon, however, is that this object was of great importance, and that, whatever its use, it was greatly coveted by the angels and demons. Further research suggests that in time an archangel called Tyrael ordered a bastion to be built around the World Stone, a stronghold which would come to be known as a Pandemonium Fortress. Throughout these writings, I will explore much further the tales surrounding Tyrael, as I have indeed actually met the angel. The footnote says, "Read these sections carefully, my dear. Read all the things about him carefully. If my suspicions are correct, he still has some role to play in this grand drama." I can testify to the existence of the Pandemonium Fortress, as I was once there. I can tell you from first-hand experience that this stronghold embodies the warped reality traits ascribed to Pandemonium as a whole. However, I have never seen anything quite like it. That having been said, I cannot be sure whether it is simply otherworldly in nature, or it was built by an angel or a mad demon. In any case, over the course of the eternal conflict, the fortress changed hands between angels and demons. Thus, it has taken on structural and metaphysical traits of both the high heavens and the burning hells. Long ago, an angel known as Inarius seized the World Stone and, through some impossible act of magic, veiled it from the sight of both heaven and hell. He had accomplished this with the aid, I presume, of the mysterious demoness Lilith and a cadre of other angels and demons who had grown disillusioned with the eternal conflict. Inarius succeeded in manipulating the power of the stone to create the world of Sanctuary, a hidden paradise where he and his followers could live free up from the madness of unending strife. It is the place we know as the mortal realm. This is our world. We must pause a moment to think upon this. Our world, unlike all the other worlds, was created by both angels and demons. The day of Sanctuary's creation, the nature of the eternal conflict changed. Much confusion spread through the burning hells and the high heavens. The center of all things they fought over for countless millennia had vanished. It was simply gone. At first, both sides suspected the other, but in time they realized that the truth was something different. Thus, it was that the battle for possession of the World Stone had become the search for it. It is interesting to note, before we begin delving into the burning hells and high heavens, that not all things assumed of them are true. For instance, there are different cults which reigned in the period between what we now know as the Sin War and the Dark Exile, both of which I will discuss later. It was believed by some that the high heavens and the burning hells were places where the souls of men went when they died, that men either were rewarded for their virtues, they went to the high heavens, or received punishment for their failings, where they went to the burning hells. Aside from the unfounded beliefs of various cults, there is nothing in academia to support this. It is important that the reader understand that the high heavens and the burning hells, much like the realm of Pandemonium, are actual physical locations in this universe. Personally, I believe that there exists a place where the souls of men go after their death, but that discussion is beyond the place of this treatise. This being said, I must confess that even I do not always know where myth ends and truth begins. That, reader, I will let you judge for yourself.